3, 2, 1. We're live.
Welcome, loyal listeners, followers from near and far,
Dweebs.
for our 22nd
22nd.
episode of 118 West. Coming to you live from 118 West Studios.
At this point, our show's lasted longer than the average Netflix series, I think.
Really?
I mean, they're like famous for cutting series off after like 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, the content, I think, alone lends itself to the longevity.
I think the content speaks for itself.
Yeah.
From the humble beginnings in the garage.
Dude, some of those episodes are so sick to watch. Have you watched them?
Yeah.
I have some saved that we never even like streamed. They were like test ones that we did.
Yeah.
They're pretty good. Before we could even do the live, because we didn't have a camera that would stream it in like a strong enough format.
They're recorded, right?
Yeah, they're just recorded.
Yeah.
Like 30 minutes. We were really figuring things out, dude.
We were batting probably under 500 for having audio.
No. The audio was like there, but shitty because we had those Yeti mics,
Yeah.
dude, and like they weren't like for picking up echoes and stuff. We were all figuring it out, but
We were also recording in a garage.
we were in a garage.
The cricket noise was pretty loud.
No, I think the issue is like having mics that weren't meant to pick it up, because like these ones pick up like what you speak into,
Yeah.
versus those other ones were picking up like echo, like delayed and stuff. So it was interesting. They're interesting. But what's up, dude? We guys 118 West live show. We got some banners, top and bottom, up there, down there.
And before we forget, we also have some shirts that you can see in our background. And this show is sponsored by a screen printing company that David and I operate, Dead Rec and Printworks. So if you're listening or watching and you need any screen printing services or know somebody that does,
Or digital transfers too. Like if you just got a couple shirts and
yeah.
it's complex design, like screen printing is a little expensive, but we can just
If you need apparel decorating, hit us up.
yeah. I would prefer to do shirts.
Yes, shirts with simple designs would be best.
Yeah,
But we can do
we can do it
complex
all.
designs.
You got jean shorts. We'll do those. We'll like we'd do anything.
Yeah, we'll get outside our comfort
Bed
zone.
sheets.
You need something bedazzled.
Bed sheets would be tight.
We can make it happen. But yeah, this show is sponsored by that, and we are available to work if you have any. So, yeah, what's on the docket tonight?
Maybe a recap of this lackluster season we're experiencing on the West Coast.
It's banging surf season though.
Has it been?
I mean, it's been great weather.
Do you think in general
Incredibly clean conditions?
a banging winter surf season does not go hand in hand with a great
Yes.
winter?
Oh, totally. Conditions wise, yes, because like it's been nonstop high pressure, dry. There's been no like, oh, I gotta wait for the water to clear up. But there's also, I mean, that's what happens when you have a banging ski season. Is it's like storm after storm after storm, and the water is just dirty all the time. Versus now, like the surf has been a little bit small, but if you like to longboard, it's all good, and it's just been clean all the time.
Yeah.
I think there's been some good snow years, though, that are also good winter surf years.
If you don't mind surfing in dirty water,
Yeah.
like, I mean, it's just the way it is. Because
Yeah.
with the snow comes rain almost all the time, unless it's one of those weird ones where it's good in Mammoth and all the storms miss the locals. But
Which
That's
seems
true.
like it does happen, though, from time to time.
yeah,
The locals are easy to get missed by storms.
Yeah. The problem this year, too, though, was like, okay, we didn't. Weirdly enough, we actually got. Southern California got more than their average rainfall. It just coincidentally happened in 3 main events,
Yeah.
pretty much none of which dropped snow.
It's going to go down as an above average snow year for Mammoth.
You think so?
Total wise?
I don't know.
They're at 300.
Yeah, but it
I think
depends
that's
on.
above average.
No, their average is 400.
I don't think 400 is an actual average. I think that's a quoted average. But I think if you go back and you look at
Dog. The
I think it's like
snowpack's
360.
at 47% of its seasonal normal in the Sierra. They're not an average
I
snow
don't
year.
know if that's true.
It's 100% true.
I think an average year is like 360.
For maybe northern
You want to see
Sierra.
seasonal snowpack for the Central Sierra?
What about the southern Sierra?
Well, Mammoth is Central Sierra.
Kind of. I think it's right on the edge.
Not according to the people that measure the snowpack.
Yeah, I think.
It's Central.
Yeah, because I think Tahoe is considered northern Sierra, right? Like the Sierras don't go that
Tahoe,
much farther
Sierra,
north.
Yeah.
Tahoe, Sierraville, that area is northern Sierra. South of Tahoe
What do you-
to Mammoth is it's at like 47%.
What do you want? What do you want to bet that this goes down as an above average snow
For Mammoth.
season for Mammoth?
I don't want to bet that at all. It's not going to be unless barring
So
the
Then
next.
why don't
What
you
did you
want
want
to
to
bet
bet it then?
Oh, sure. Yes, whatever.
Put your phone away, dude. We're not going to fact check
Yeah,
this.
no, we're on a no fact.
Well, we will be after the end of the pod, and you're going to see that you have a ways to go.
I don't
I
think
agree.
so.
I agree. I think it's going to be below average.
What would you like to bet?
But only because I think March and April are going to
Ribs.
be weak.
Ribs? Can I just bet you the value of the ribs? I'm trying to be healthier.
Ribs are
Doesn't
healthy
look
for
like
you.
it.
What's that supposed to mean? Totally uncalled for.
You should get
No, it's not. It's not. It's not
a
going to
meal,
be.
pizza,
Okay. I can't have any.
Mossies.
I'm going pizzaless for Lent, but yes, after that you can
Well, we have till the end of the season.
certainly buy me a pizza. I'm shocked you would like go against me. Like I follow this stuff pretty religiously. Like you're just throwing away money.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll average the last
Well, last year was what?
since last year was
just-
280.
280.
Okay, no. Well, if they're not at 100% of normal, if that region's not at 100% of normal,
no,
you lose.
no, that's not the metrics we're going by. We're going by Mammoth. No, we're going by Mammoth reported snowfall being greater than average reported snowfall at Mammoth.
Okay, but who are you going that? You're
Mammoth-
not trusting the resort?
No, we are trusting. We're
Oh,
gonna
okay, well
take
the resort says 400 and
Yeah,
they're
yeah. You can't
you can't
You can't
double-
trust the resort, but we can
You-
trust the.
We'll just put all the season snowfalls into a spreadsheet and average it. It's not 400.
No, I'm sure there's actually a weather
So,
station that's there that
we
has
can't
the
we
average.
can't
You
hold
can't
on.
use their marketing department.
Let me get this straight. We're going by Mammoth snowfall totals and what their
Yeah, the
average is.
actual
we can't
snowfall
go by
totals.
the actual percent of normal that
No,
in
it's
that
going to be
area of the
it's
Sierra.
going to be a better authority.
We have to do your own hand-picked data from.
It's not it's their numbers at Mammoth reports their season.
So if we can't trust their marketing department, why are we going by the numbers they're reporting?
because
that doesn't
those are
make
two
any
different
sense.
things.
How?
It's a ski patrol
there's
snow
a,
study.
There's a snow station at Mammoth, and
Correct.
we'll go by the average snowfall reported by that.
You're saying this number 400, which is just something that they put out.
But so is the annual average snowfall that you look on their website. That's also something they put out. So
Yeah.
why would we be going by that?
Because we're
why
not-
don't
no,
we
no,
just
we're
go
not gonna-
by
no, we're
the
not going by
actual
their website.
scientist that measure in that exact area what percentage of normal
But
their
Yes, that's what we're
snow's
going
at.
to do.
That's not what I bet you. Though. I bet you that Mammoth Mountains, their snowfall total, so the number that they report at the end of the season, that they report on their website, is going to be above the average that they report that they've been reporting since
mean, it should-
1970.
It should still be a pretty easy bet to win. They're at like 281 last I checked. So, and there's no snow coming.
What is
And-
their average? Like three? I think it's
don't
like
know. I think it's
360.
like 320 something, or 330 maybe.
I think it's
Yeah.
360.
We'll check.
But I think that March and April are going to be slim pickings for everybody.
There's no snow
Yeah.
coming in March. There's a brutal high pressure system set to stall out over the entire region for the next 2 weeks. And the storm window's closing, so
Praise
I can't
Jaw.
wait to taste that pizza. I wish you were right, but I don't believe you happen to be.
Well, time will tell. But weirdly, it has been a better season by the numbers than last year. They have more snow at this point than they had
Yeah,
last
because
year
we
at this
ended
point.
because we ended at 280 or what? No, 290,
Two-
288 or something like that.
yeah.
You just barely beat me guessing 280, and I guessed 300.
But it's been a worse season in terms of the actual snowpack. See, that's that ultimately,
Totally, I agree with that
um,
because it came in like 3
when
different.
it comes in waves and then it gets really hot and melts, and
And
it's
it
still not
rained.
an abnormally large amount of snow. Ultimately, like, okay, Bears got 50 inches. That's pretty much their average, I think.
How
But
it-
it's been a horrendous season.
How late do you think Mammoth will make it to stay open?
They said after that huge storm they were going to go till at least, what is it, Memorial Day?
Yeah.
But we'll see
End of
after this
May.
bout of. It's going to be 70 degrees in Mammoth, the town, in a couple days.
Yeah.
70. We're still in winter.
I'm going to Yosemite for Memorial Day.
You don't normally see 70 in any time in like April in Mammoth. 70 is like a July temp.
Yeah. It'd be pretty warm potentially when you're in the valley.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, it's
You
been
might be hanging out in the river.
I mean, I feel like I don't think it's going to be that warm, but
Memorial Day in the valley, I think it can be.
well, first of all, it's going to be pretty dang hot for me to get in the river. I don't really like swimming that much.
Yeah.
Well, Merced's fun to swim in Yosemite. There's some nice
Yeah,
little...
and like late season, I feel like when it's
Or floating.
Another issue with this heat event that's occurring, it's going to get so hot, record-setting heat throughout the Sierra, that it's going to essentially trigger a June-style snowmelt. So by the time you actually get to May or June, stuff's not going to be like flowing like it normally does, because it's going to essentially trigger that process for the most part over the next 2 weeks, about 2.5 months prematurely.
I bet the tourists will still be flowing. though.
Yeah.
Can you
I'm
imagine
bummed
being
about
in
that.
Yosemite in March and seeing vernal just ripping?
It'd be a good time to be there.
I guess, yeah.
You've been to Yosemite before, David?
I've been there a handful of times, and it's the last time I went was pretty miserable. I didn't like it. It was so crowded. I swore I'd never go back. But then Matt got a campsite there and he invited us. Or no, he didn't invite us. He said he thought about inviting us, but then remembered that I hated it there, so he didn't invite us. And I said, we'll go. So we're going to go because I want the girls can see it. But we're just going to bring bikes, and we're just going to go to places that are not popular and just chill out, basically, like picnic in some meadows or something. Or
One of the more secluded parts of the park you should try is there's a small little bed and breakfast called the Awani.
yeah, tight, dude. I was also thinking of going to some of the little falls like Nevada Falls and Bridal Veil, you know.
I haven't been to the valley in years. I'm sure it is terrible now. It wasn't that bad when we used to go. I mean, it was crowded, but not like obnoxiously crowded.
I wish that they would seriously limit it and do a lottery where it's like, I think they still do a lottery. I think it's a little bit less impacted than it was at its height. But I think that like they should make it like they do this for like hunting permits where you apply for it. If you don't get it, then you get like double the odds next year. And then if you don't get it, then it like doubles it again. And so I think they should like seriously limit international tourists that can go to it.
I was just going to say, I feel like that should be the lottery system, because I think that's what pushes it over the edge. It's
Well-
not visitors. California visitors should have first crack at the park, and then everyone else, it should be a tiered system. If you live
The
outside
closer you live, like
Well, if you
closer
live-
states.
No, it's
get-
just California,
If
and then
you're
if you live
in Okie.
anywhere, if you can't prove you're a California resident, if you live anywhere else in the U.S., you're next tier down, and then if you're internationally, you're like third in line to visit.
But even then, it should be limited. Like California residents should be limited. They could easily. I mean,
What would you
could
cap?
easily
What would you
swamp it.
cap day visitation at
I
in the
don't know.
valley?
I don't know.
Although, what would you imagine
Couple hundo.
I was thinking a couple thousand.
on any given day? I bet California residents make up less than half the park.
You think so?
Less than that. Yeah, less than
Easy,
a quarter.
dude.
Less
It's
than a
such
quarter, dude.
massive.
International
draw.
people take up, I think, more than half of the draw from what I've seen, from what
Yeah.
I've heard.
It's imagine
don't
if you
know.
just
When I
said,
say here, I'm talking languages.
or what if we just banned international people for like a couple months of the year, where it's like just you're not allowed.
Well, here's the problem is with that though is like you can't plan it. It's like hard to like plan a trip for them internationally if they can't like.
Well, if they knew you're not coming in July or it was like staggered every other month. International. Oh, it would probably just add to the 1 month on, 1 month off. So then more local people could go on a non-international.
They just sound
month.
so angry when they talk, you know?
local
9.
Valley days. You got into a conflict with a German tourist in Yosemite years and years ago.
Did I?
Yeah, we were coming down the trail from Half Dome, and there was a German tourist with trekking poles walking pretty slowly in front of us. And you kept trying to pass him, and he kept putting the trekking poles like
that's
wider and
right.
wider. And then I think you finally swooped a trekking pole out of the way and just ran by him.
And he was not happy.
He was
Like, that's
9
just too much.
happy.
Too much, right? Like,
I should have reminded him we were back-to-back World War champs. We also made friends with a Scottish tourist.
Yeah, he was super cool.
He was
John.
John. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I actually relatively recently stumbled across that hand-drawn map of Scotland that he drew us with like places to check out.
Really?
Uh-huh.
That's cool. That was
Yeah.
a good trip.
I'd like
We-
to visit Scotland.
We got camping in the valley on that trip. Remember,
Yeah.
we took
Uh-huh.
someone's site.
We were at Upper Pines.
Yeah.
I think it's not necessarily impossible nowadays to get camping in the valley, but the campground experience is pretty like at bad times of year. I think if you go in shoulder season or winter, it's not bad. But if you go in basically probably like, you know, mid-spring to
You think Tioga will be open for Memorial Day?
I predict no.
Yeah.
Depend-
It's so
yeah,
rare
it-
that it's open in May, right? We've looked this up.
It
We've argued
certainly
about this
could be
before.
though with the heat wave that will impact
Yeah.
how quickly.
But
if
it
there
just-
was ever a year it would be open in May, this would be probably a pretty big contender for it at some point in May.
It feels like the opening of Tioga has a lot to do with snow, but it has so many other factors too. Like it's just a big construction project. You know, like
yeah.
it depends on like how much rockfall gets on the road and
I just don't think this is what Teddy envisioned when he created the parks. Is like I think they were meant for us, you know, not. I mean, nothing against foreigners, but like, I think you're onto something, Dave.
Oh, I know I am, dude. If I were, that would be one of the main tenets of my platform. If I were going to run for dictator of the U.S.
run for dictator of the
Yeah,
U.S.
yeah, yeah.
Well, you
Democratically elected dictator.
you run for president and then you become a dictator.
No, I would run for dictator. The other thing would also be that, listen, if you're a TV show, you get 12 months to pump out a new season. If not,
You're done.
you're in jail. That's another big one for me. And then my third tenet would be
Wait, what TV shows violate that?
Oh, there's
every
a ton.
single one now, dude.
Yeah.
It's like that's like the new normal. It was like
yeah,
2
they'll
to
do
3
a
years.
season and then they'll take a couple of years to make the next season. It's like
Sounds like a pretty chill way to make a TV show.
It's not in my America. And then the third one is headlights. You're turning those headlights down, okay? Real men and women do not need bright ass headlights.
real men
I'd
use
rather crash my car than fully see
use
the road.
LEDs.
Well, I mean,
Real men use halogens.
listen, dude, I drive a 13-year-old car with normal stock halogen headlights in it. I've never
And
had
I've
an
only
issue.
ran over a couple people.
I drove home last night from Lauren's parents' house and it was fucking miserable, dude. Let me tell you something. If you get behind me with bright ass lights, I guarantee you I'm going 10 miles an hour under the speed limit until I make you go around me. That's
Yeah.
what's up. Like
So-
I'll be late to something to stick it to people with bright ass headlights.
It's so funny. I just don't notice this, I think, when
Really?
driving.
Do you notice it, Jess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The headlights have gotten like the
Too
worst.
damn bright.
They are pretty bright. But I don't know if that would be top of my platform. But certainly
It's funny that 2/3 of your platform feels like don't affect me. I'm down with the first one.
What was the other one?
TV shows with
Well, that's
extra
because
long production ones.
I'm running a big tent here.
yeah.
Okay. And listen, everybody,
But don't you think anyone who has a modern car might not be under that tent with you?
we're listening.
like a newer car, they'd just be like,
No,
no,
no, dude. This is I'm surprised that this is not an issue for you because this is like, I think, a very common issue for most people. It affects most Americans.
To be fair, frequently if I'm in a low car, if I'm not in the van, I'm in a low car, I'm already going pretty slow anyways, and I don't think people are hanging out behind me.
Yeah, you're running that defense all the time.
Yeah, they might just be.
One time, dude, somebody got behind me and they had these bright ass lights and I was going so slow. And then it was on PCH where PCH turns up to Dover.
Yeah.
And they were like so pissed I could tell, but they had to be behind me to turn right. And then I was like, yeah, fuck these people, dude. And then, it was the sickest part was somebody was waiting there to cross on the pedestrian part. You know how you get stuck on the island? So I stopped for them. And the people honked at me. And I just gave them like a peace sign in the back window. And then they saw like it was like a kid or something, like a teenager crossed. And then I drove off slowly again. And guess what? They didn't get behind me. They moved into the lane next to me, but they stayed back. I think because they were embarrassed that they honked at me because I waited for a person.
Street justice.
Yeah. So I didn't have their lights in me, and they didn't dare show their face to me.
Yeah.
So
sometimes a simple peace gesture or a smile or a thumbs up is far more aggravating to an angry driver than a middle finger.
Oh no, it's the only way to respond to any sort of like aggressive driving is like either like
what about a casually thrown stick of gum?
Yeah.
Me and Hank Green learned that the hard way on the way to Tuck Eats. We had a lady behind us and she was like aggressively trying to pass us on like deadly turns or whatever, and I was not letting her pass and driving slow in the Prius, and she was just all over the road. Eventually she got to a passing lane and I could tell she was enraged, and as she went by us I just smiled and gave her a little wave like this, and that sent her over the edge. She tried to run us off the road, and eventually Hank was like, dude, just get away from her. But just a smile and a wave sometimes is worse than
yeah, that's really bad because then you're kind of rubbing it. I just like to be pretend like I'm oblivious. Like, what? No, I was just going 20 miles an hour under the speed limit. I don't know what's the big deal. Like, what? Or just like a little peace sign, like, yeah, I got it.
Yeah. We didn't subscribe to those.
No, I wasn't
driving.
always. I didn't always subscribe to the
When we were
turn the
younger.
other cheek approach, but then I realized like so much better.
It is. It's a lot safer.
yeah, I think I'm past the donut throwing, burrito throwing stage in my
What about,
life.
are you past in a merge situation? Are you
No.
past enforcing
No, absolutely not. I will enforce.
some habits?
The world needs
but
you.
that's-
I'm not going to do that.
I will always enforce.
How aggressive how much non-lane will you cross over to enforce?
Pretty much
a
the way
merge.
I look at it is like I'll let a couple people get one over on the rest of us, but then if it gets egregious and I see it's becoming like people are just abusing it, then I step up and do the right thing.
I like it when I see somebody block for me, but after that one person got freaking shot by the methed out person on the 55 and their kid was killed, I thought, you know what, dude?
Was that over that?
It was over something. It's some innocuous road rage incident, but I thought, you know what, dude, I'm chill on proving a point. Although
Usually I do it though to where it's not crazy.
That's
not
what
gonna
I'm saying. Like
I'm not going to go over into the actual block the service lane. I just straddle enough where if you want to get by me, you're actually going to have to go out of the lane and get somewhat off the freeway.
Yeah.
let them know you're not a busta.
Yeah, exactly.
Good for you though. The world needs that, dude. Because I hate it when people, or you know what, like I'll be driving with Lauren, and when like you got in line to get over to to get off at an off ramp or a junction or something, right? And then like you see the people that are waiting till the last minute and then getting in,
Yeah.
and I think like, dude, you got to hold the line. You got to be bumper to bumper.
Yeah. Do you hold the line?
Oh, I
Yeah,
always
yeah,
hold
dude,
the line.
100%,
Yeah.
100%. Well, it depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I'm feeling generous, so I'm like, yeah, because not those people, like in my mind, they're just shitheads that are trying to fucking cut in line. But the reality is like I drive with Lauren all the time, dude, and she just is space. And she's like, oh, I gotta get over, and it's like sometimes I'm feeling generous, and I'm like, yeah, this is probably just maybe a clueless person who didn't know they had to get over, and now they're just in a bad place. And
I think usually I
money.
can tell if it's just clueless and you waited too long. It's the ones where it's like you can tell where it's like people had all the time in the world and they're just trying to get one over. then I'm keeping it bump. I'm not-
Especially, I think you can tell like
When they
if they're
zoom
going
up.
fast.
Yeah.
Like if they're coming up fast and then like swerve in.
yeah.
Or have you ever
Drivers can tell.
have you ever seen someone get out of line behind you, like you see
Oh,
it in
yeah.
a mirror, and zoom up, and
yeah,
then
no,
you're like,
that's you're not getting
you're
over.
like
But-
you can't let this guy in.
But the problem in those situations is
Sometimes
that
people just
other
keep
people
coming.
don't hold the one. Like
No. Well, you get caught slacking. Like if you're not like if I'm not pissed off enough, sometimes, dude, I leave some space.
if
You
I
know, 'cause
slip,
I'm not.
then I'm slipping.
Yeah, I'm slipping. I'm falling. I can't merge in.
What a awesome segue. So yeah, it's been a shitty season.
Yeah.
But not for surf. We got some surf. The surf is pumping right now. It's like I checked the cams. I was a cam surfer today because I cut my foot and I just wasn't that like into surfing this morning, and so I was just watching the cams all day. And there was corduroy on the Huntington State cam. Not a
Nice.
corner to be seen by the afternoon. In the morning, they looked like a little peaky, but seemed to be missing Newport a little bit, maybe surprisingly somehow.
It's a run of like 5 days of swell, maybe through the weekend for sure.
I think through next week even too.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Nice.
try to surf on Friday once everybody get it in right now. Get out of your system. I want you to surf. Hopefully you surf today. Hopefully you surf tomorrow, and then hopefully you take Friday off because I'm gonna be getting out there, and I'm hoping to get some of mine. Get it in.
You got your surf mat?
I did get my surf mat. I don't know if I will. It seems like I think that like when it's big, they're hard to get out of the surf, like because you can't duck dive them. You just kind of gotta like
Let
Kinda
it take you.
just
Take it like a
fucking-
rat.
I think you just like kind of like bear hug it and just like float up over the thing. But I was thinking about it's like it's gonna be a great black ball vehicle.
Yeah.
At the point maybe this summer, a little stand up boogie boarding, a little mat riding. Maybe if it's like
Maybe you
lots
got
of
yourself a
lefts.
stew.
Yeah.
Nice. How'd you catch your foot?
Surfing at Uppers. I surfed Uppers on Monday because I thought it was gonna be like fun longboard surf, and I went down there and it was shitty, dude, and like not really that good surfable. And this big bull sea lion came through the lineup, and that kind of freaked me out. And I was the only one out, and it wasn't getting that good of waves. So I got one in, and I thought I was able to paddle out through the little channel keyhole without hitting my fin. And I thought I was going to be able to just like kind of like paddle back in, but right as I was coming out, I hit it in my fin. I got to sand it down now. And then I stepped off my board and then I sliced my foot. So.
Nice. You tell the sea lion, we don't want any trouble with you, Governor.
Yeah, no, I kept surfing after he went through, but after he like popped up, I kind of like went over to the little channel and I was like, I might just go in right now if he's like going to be more interested in me. But then saw him body surf a couple waves and go back up to like where the surf team was surfing, and so I went out and tried to catch a couple more waves, and then I decided this sucks and went in. Yep.
Yeah. Well, you have every right to be concerned. I mean, it's not the first time you've been chased by a loose
Loose seal. Yeah. And like I feel like I'm more concerned about sea lions than sharks. Like I feel like they got more of a. Well, first of all, you can see them because they're up.
Yeah.
And I feel like they have more of a bite you vibe than sharks.
Yeah. I mean, they're just dogs.
Yeah.
You remember
Mermaid dogs.
we got chased out of the water when we were trying to walk into the Bixby Ranch,
Yeah.
and we were paddling, trying to make the last bit of paddle, and like big unruly.
I don't think it was the last. I think it was
What we
the
thought was
farthest
the-
we could walk.
Yeah.
And
Was that with Brandon?
No, I
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
Oh, was
it was.
Brandon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you were there too, I think.
Yes.
Did you enter the water with us?
Nope.
No. Yeah, and I think
I
we
don't think so. Or if I did, I entered with and paddled like 10 feet and was like, nope.
I just remember it was really, the wind was blowing us it was going to blow with us, like around Point Conception.
Yeah.
And I think we got outside like the surf, kind of like big storm.
Felt like raw
surf.
energy, which I bet it does often feel like that at like.
Which is
the
interesting.
tip
It
of
wasn't big
Conception.
surf in Halama that day. It was like
It was like
one-
head high.
I think it was decent enough.
Really?
Yeah.
It was like head high surf, I think, at Halama.
And then I remember a huge, like, can't remember whether it was a seal or sea lion,
But
but
there's a sea lion. It's a big
Yeah.
big male sea lion.
popped up and we're like, all right, we're done with this. We're not going to make it.
Yeah, yeah. And then we surfed the last little cove that we paddled out to had like a little refraction wave, like rights and lefts that we surfed for a little bit, and then we.
I don't remember
Walked
that part
back.
of it, but
I remember it was like mildly fun surf.
Yeah.
That surf actually had really fun surf. I remember surfing on the board that he called the tripod. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
It was
uh-huh.
like a small egg thruster. Sort of similar to the one that you got from Infinity, I
Yeah,
feel like,
yeah.
but maybe a little bit rounder.
Maybe better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like some of those boards were.
Dude, I was just watching something where the guy was like, yeah, I asked him to like shape me this, but he's like, shapers hate shaping the same board, man. They just hate doing it. And it's so funny because it's just so true.
Yeah,
Not at Gator Shapes. Gator Shapes
we
never
couldn't
made
shape the same board.
It's not that we didn't,
we didn't
want
hate
to.
doing it. We just were
not
incapable.
capable of ever replicating.
I mean,
a
you
design.
can't replicate genius. You know, you have a great board like
That's true.
lightning in a bottle. It's not gonna.
I know. Too bad there's no. I wish I would have held on to some of the boards. There were some decent boards, like the
There
Pink
is still
Fish.
a board. There's one Gator Shapes
Yep.
we know for sure that's still.
I've thought about renting a
Kick
shaping
in.
room and shaping a board. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll like give it a go.
You
Little
know,
single fin egg, maybe
it
like the
wasn't
orange
just
board I had.
I think in retrospect, that wasn't just the shapes that maybe left something to be desired. I'd say the glassing process
Yeah, yeah.
was.
Some boards had decent glass jobs.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
The Pink Fish was probably like I feel like the highest quality board I made personally.
the fall fish was nice.
The fall fish
Yeah.
was nice.
the fall fish looked nicer than it was. I think.
The orange
had some-
single fin.
Nothing ever had. I think it was always a matter of like there were some pretty abrupt like rails, right? So it's like
Soft. No, there were a lot of
soft
rails.
rails because those were easier.
The
I've-
Pink Fish had crispy rails though.
I think it was
I
harder
thought
to
the fall
put like
fish
a.
was pretty. I thought those were pretty hard rails.
No, I think
I
soft.
think they were soft. Remember the blue and yellow
It's
board?
easy to take like a hand with like sandpaper or like sure grit or whatever and just do like put like a 50-50 like rail the whole way down a board. I think it's harder to like transition that into like a crisp.
I remember Dennis ordered a surfboard, several people on the street, and I just remember people checking in like, is my board ready? It's been
No, we
been-
got
no, we
them.
delivered.
No, we delivered
No,
them
I
pretty
know.
quickly. The quality was
We delivered. Do you remember?
questionable.
And just if there's anyone listening or watching this, our screen printing quality is nothing like our surfboard quality. It's much higher.
We've come a long way.
yeah.
But-
I mean, case in point.
Totally. Right here. But do you remember delivering a board on the way to Refugio one year to Lauren
Yeah,
And
in the dark.
in the dark, which was good for us. Less ability to investigate the overall quality. And we delivered it so quickly. I think we were kind of stressed about it.
I think
can't-
that was one of our better glassed boards. Though I think it actually I think it might have had some sand through in it though. Like,
yeah.
but we were always so impatient. Then I mean, I guess should we probably not disparage our work that much if we're sponsored
Well,
by?
we were
That's true.
18
We were
years old.
No, we weren't even 18. We were like 16, 17.
You were old enough to know.
we were 18 years old,
Yeah,
working
that's
out
true.
of a shed.
Some timeless designs.
Yeah, but I thought about trying to shape a board again.
Yeah.
Like, I think it could be cool.
Was the orange board that you're referencing, was that the one that you put the fin box in that had the swivel
Yeah,
fin?
yeah. That was a cool board. It was like cool shape.
Was that do you think that's a gimmick fin?
Yes.
Yeah.
It had a step deck in it though, so like the deck came out like this and then went down by like half an inch and then the rail.
Yeah.
How many surfboards were shaped? Did Gator Shapes crank out at least 20?
I don't think 20. I think more like 15.
More than 10, less than 20, I think.
Yeah.
I remember I shaped a dog of a board. I think it was like Laker colors. It was like yellow and purple.
Yeah, I remember that one. That
Yeah.
was
It
the
was a short board. It had wings
Yeah.
I got barreled on that board at 56th Street.
So did I. It was an interesting board because it did not surf quickly, but in the right surf,
It could
just
stall.
perma-stall. Like you were
Yeah.
just stalling. And so it actually ended up being sometimes fun in the right surf
Yeah.
and not
Do-
super drivey surf.
No, you need a wave that normally you might outrace, and then you just
I remember
sit back and get pitted.
a really fun session at
So
like
pitted.
68th Street maybe on that board, just thinking like, man, this is perfect surf for this board. It's just like, yeah, not quick, but hollow and fun.
We surfed our own boards for a long time, like 4 years.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I'd say that probably made you a better surfer because once you got onto different boards, it's
I
like,
don't think so, dude. I think it stalled our surfing probably in formative years.
hey, you know,
And I think it was
I don't know.
opening your mind to alternative wavecraft.
Yeah.
That was kind of the start of like wanting to surf those type of board. Did you have like a fish
No.
or anything before shaping? Yeah, so
No.
it's shaping boards. I think that got you into.
I mean, I guess I had like
had the
the
green
first
fish?
shortboard
That was
no,
after.
that was
Oh.
later. The first shortboard that I bought was from Brandon. It was like a round nose fish style fish, but it wasn't like a real twin keel
Yeah,
fish. Yeah, because those were hard to find then. Like
and Brandon shaped some unreal boards.
I know. Yep.
I think my favorite boards of all time.
Dude, I think Infinity can do something like that, like the single
Yeah.
fin. I think the one I'm going to order that next year.
That single fin and a shorter fish that he shaped.
And I think actually, if you surfed the Bonzer that I had, I think you would be like, yeah, this is like that single fin, maybe better because it's
Yeah.
Almeric, but and it's a Bonzer, but it's like got shortboard glass job, shortboard rails.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet. I enjoy it.
When Brandon was shaping boards, so he wasn't glassing them himself, right?
No.
I think he was taking them to get glassed
Was he?
Yeah. at Pure Glass. I think maybe.
Yeah. I think he was. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Hmm.
If you rent a shaping bay, are you gonna? You're not gonna try and glass boards.
No,
yourself,
I'd have
right?
it glass professionally.
Yeah.
David can ill afford to waste any more brain cells on the.
I
Glassing
just don't want to
process.
waste the foam, because I
Yeah.
feel like my glassing would not be up to par. But a little single fin egg could be pretty sweet.
It would be fun.
Where do you get blanks now? China?
No,
that
I
the-
think they're still made in the U.S. I think
What was
Marco,
the original one?
Clark Foam.
Clark
Foam,
Foam, Grubby
that's right.
Clark. He
Yeah.
didn't like that they were trying to regulate the industry. So he said, "Screw everybody! I'm shutting down business, and you guys can all eat shit." And he left the surf industry without like foam. There's a good
It caused some major issues for a while.
yeah, there's a good podcast with I forget who it was, like one of the shapers though, who like talked about it, and they're like friends with them, and they're like, dude, like it's all good, man. Like you should like they're like, yeah, it wasn't even like that big of a deal business wise these regulations, but like he didn't like the principle of being told that like he had to produce some
Abide
cleaner.
Abide by environmental
Yeah,
regulations.
yeah, and so he just told everybody to fuck off, and then he bought like a ranch, I think, in Northern California
Nice.
or Idaho maybe or something.
Where
It
you
was-
could pollute in peace.
Yeah. And he jammed up like the whole surfboard industry for like 2 years until people figured out you know what it was? I think people wanted to buy the molds from
and
him.
he said no.
And he's like, "No, dude, screw you guys. You guys can eat shit if you want to try to tell me to clean up the environment."
Just trash all the molds.
God.
I think he threw away all the like I don't know, he didn't let
Definitely a
anybody
member
take
of
it over
the
from
greatest
him.
generation.
Grubby Clark.
Why do you think his nickname was Grubby Clark?
You know, you got to appreciate someone that like stands on principle though, even if it's something as egregious as flouting environmental regulations. Like, nope. It's kind of like I'd rather
Don't quote me on
crash-
that. You guys should actually look that up for yourselves, but
That sounds about right.
that's the way I recollect it. Like it might have been Devin or I don't know, maybe Chris Christensen, maybe like a podcast interview with him, maybe, and he was talking about it.
Yeah.
Now there's
Sorry.
other foam.
If we didn't before in podcasts in the past, we should probably make a blanket disclaimer. These views expressed are solely our own, and
Not Dead
aren't
Wreck and
necessarily-
Printworks.
nor are they necessarily reflective of the facts. So please, if our retelling of any of these events are wrong,
You know what is a
don't
fact?
sue.
Was it not last week, but the week before? I went to
Faith.
friends.
Faith is a
yeah,
fact.
Faith is a fact. I'm going to prison because you don't know what a blooper reel is. I went to Kristen's birthday at Doheny State Beach. Have you ever been there, Jesse?
I've only driven by. I
Dude,
have never actually.
We
set
got to
foot.
do a camping trip there.
Yeah,
The
next
camping
January.
scene there is so sick.
Dude, you can camp. You can go to work and go on a camping trip there. It's just Doheny, so you can drive there after work and post
I'm
up.
probably not going to do that, but
But you should do a camping trip at
Camping there sounds fun. Camping and then going to work sounds fucking terrible.
Well, I mean, or you could camp
Or if you
and
couldn't
then-
make the whole camping trip, you could. It would be really easy to.
You do
work.
realize my work is
You
just
go-
a teeny bit farther past my work is my house. Wouldn't I just camp and then go back to my
Yeah,
house?
but what if you wanted to hang out with your friends on a camping trip?
Come on, Jess.
Yeah,
Hang out with
exactly.
your friend.
or like maybe you could it's not like Refugio where you'd have to drive up like the morning of your first day off.
I
You'd
think
come
I would
by.
just plan to like drive from my house, which is roughly 10 miles from Doheny.
This is what Jake said though
and
too,
then
and then he said no, it's
Camp.
actually chill to go
And then-
there.
I
go
did
home.
think that. Yeah, in the beginning, I was like, it's so close. Am I really gonna like camp down there, or should I just like hang out and then drive home? And it ended up being awesome to camp down there. It's a sweet, like the sites, or a couple of the sites at least, like the premium sites, are right on the beach. So you're literally camping in the sand,
I would
like
camp
fire
down
pit,
there,
like.
but I would probably have to let other people know in the area that we're camping there that just so you know, I do live close by. I
Local
wouldn't want
status.
people thinking I was like a tourist that was camping.
Yeah.
Well, because I was telling Jake about this, like one of the cool things about camping, especially like beach, I mean, all camping, but especially beach camping, is it's the ability to have a campfire and stay up late hanging out with my friends. Like that's like
true.
my favorite part of camping is staying up late, hanging around the campfire.
I don't think I've ever camped in Orange County
yeah,
for that reason because I feel like I would have to tell people.
And I had
just so you know,
the same.
I'm a local.
We camped at Trails, but that's technically San Diego County.
Yeah, I think I had the same hangups, but camping down there, I was like, oh, this is a sweet. It honestly rivals Refugio for its epicness.
That's not true. I've camped in Orange County, but I've more just like passed out and spent the night in the dirt places.
Well, you
Where?
have a sweet setup with the van too.
Yeah,
for
but
it.
even
Where?
I think
I don't
Tucker
know.
slept on a cot just outside, and
Yeah.
it was totally fine.
Several spots.
Intentionally.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't planned, but
Okay.
still camping
Yeah.
and have a tent.
Yeah. No, it was a ultra sweet beach camping setup, and I mean we were there in late February or early March, and it was like obviously it's not guaranteed that it'd be epic, but it was like so hot and sunny and just
It's a little risque, but middle of January, I think you could be 80% sure that
Yeah.
it would be nice and
there was
Yeah,
sweet.
a
I'd be
fun
down.
wave breaking like right in front of the campsite that we were at.
Ooh,
Maddie
Do-
would
like
probably
the
love it.
main.
Doheny be popping off right now.
Yeah.
There's lines coming in there with this south swell. And the Capistrano Bight, it's like one of the most sheltered places in California.
Yeah.
It's like west wind blows offshore at Doheny, and the rest of that beach all the way down is like so sheltered. It's like glassy there and nice all the time. Sharky though. Sure is sharky.
Yeah. It's definitely sharkier than something's changed. I don't know what,
But I
but
think it's the drones and the stand-up
probably
paddlers.
just the drones.
And stand-up paddlers too.
But
I
they
think.
were saying like in about 10, 12 years ago, they started noticing way more white sharks, and scientists were saying it was unusual to see all these juveniles, at least.
Jake and I went to a seminar on sharks. It was like a shark expert from Long Beach and Cal State Long Beach, and you know what he was saying is that they've noticed that like the breeding grounds shift like decade to decade almost, and sometimes it'll be up by San Pedro, Long Beach area, like Seal Beach area. Sometimes it'll be South Bay. Sometimes it'll be Orange County, and like it does shift for like a handful of years at a time.
They do seem to like that San Clemente Trails area, though, way more than they like Newport or Huntington.
Somebody was saying at Uppers that not when I was surfing there, but when I was surfing there, they said the day before. This was a couple weeks ago. The day before, a white shark breached outside and everybody went in.
There's just, I don't know if it's more marine life. They're more, seem to be more prevalent.
The fishing has been off the hook in Southern California the last 10, 15 years though too.
I don't know. I don't really take sharks into account for where I surf for the most part. Like, I'd have no problem paddling out.
I do. I wouldn't night surf anymore. Not at Uppers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, probably not.
But would you
But
not?
I mean, would you not surf in Northern California?
I've gotten out of the water places north of LA when I've been surfing by myself because I got a sharky vibe and I didn't like it.
There's a this was a couple years ago, but our uncle lives in
Sorry to interrupt. What's a sharky vibe?
You just get it in your
you
head
know
that
it
there's
when
a
you
shark.
feel it.
Like you're like, dude, it feels like there might be a shark around here, and then you just can't get it out of your head, and you're like, dude, I think I'm just gonna go. And like, have you ever gone in a vibe where you're gonna get hurt surfing? Like, where you're like, dude, I just think I might get hurt, and then I just get out because I don't want to deal with it.
All right.
Do you catch vibes, Jesse?
You never vibe check.
I've never thought I'm gonna get hurt unless there's something just about to happen where I think, fuck, dude, I might get hurt, but
yeah,
not
like you
just
get a sharky vibe. I might get hurt.
but not just like out in the lineup. Like I might like if there's a cleanup set bearing down on me,
That's the vibe you catch. Oh no.
Or if
I
it's
might
like,
get hurt.
or if
Well,
it's like heavier than normal surf, or if I'm feeling like uncoordinated or something, or sometimes I just feel like this just doesn't feel right.
I'm not hating. I can certainly relate to like the last person goes in. I'm not a big fan of surfing as the only surfer as a general thumb anywhere
I think
as much.
it also doesn't happen to me all the time. It just happens to me on occasion. So
You wouldn't go surf like around Point Reyes or
Ooh, no, I would not surf around Point Reyes.
I don't
Nope,
think it's
nope.
has great surf anyways, right? It's not.
I would
known
surf
for it.
Santa Cruz. I'd
No,
surf Santa
for-
Cruz. I'd surf Ocean
Santa
Beach.
Cruz. That's as sharky as it gets.
Not sharkier than Point Reyes.
I mean,
Not shark. Yeah, I
The
mean,
Farallon Islands.
Santa Cruz is pretty sharky.
Is
yeah,
it?
but I mean, I'm saying those. I'd surf there. I would be a little bit worried surfing like Humboldt
I think
area.
the good surf to shark ratio is better in Santa Cruz than at Point Reyes.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
Isn't Santa Cruz within the Red Triangle?
No, the
I
Red
don't think
Triangle is
so.
north of San Francisco. Monterey
No, it
Bay
extends
is pretty
south,
sharky
though.
though.
Yeah.
It goes all the way down to Monterey, no? I don't know. I'd have to look.
Yeah.
Big Sur feels like a sharky place. I don't know if I'd want to surf Big Sur like too much.
Our
Fort
uncle.
Point?
Yeah, I'd surf Fort Point, but I don't think there's many great whites
Crescent
coming
City?
that far into the harbor,
Yeah,
into
we-
the bay there.
Yeah,
can surf
I've
there.
surfed Crescent City.
But our uncle was surfing there a couple years ago, and there was a drone. He was, I think, headed out for a session, and a drone pilot who'd been flying there warned him, was like, "Hey, just so you know, like I saw like a shark via the drone," and Uncle Mace was just like, "Okay, yeah, thanks," and paddled out and surfed. And then this guy, after his session, he had no idea. And after this session, the guy like showed him video, and there's a massive great white like not far from him in the lineup that this
Yeah.
guy was like filming, probably, I don't know, less than 50 yards at points, like just cruising outside the
What
surf.
about Oregon, Washington? Do you think that's less sharky?
No,
Oh,
no, very sharky.
Feels less sharky though than Northern California.
really?
Yeah.
The is for you, is there a thing like risk versus reward? Like, what if the surf is really, really good at one of those places? Is then it kind of like, okay, I'll take my chances?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to surf trash surf, right?
yeah, for sure.
In a sharky area. Sand
sure.
Dollar. Someone got eaten there a couple of years ago. We used to surf Sand Dollar.
I don't know if we actually really surfed sand.
Okay.
We
I mean, like,
we got in the water.
we certainly went out and surfed there.
Let me tell you something. I'm definitely not getting in the water in a sharky place if I'm not surfing.
Yeah. I think we were pretty young. I
So
don't-
you're not doing an Alcatraz swim?
For different reasons. I don't think Alcatraz is that sharky, right? Like inside
The
the bay.
bay's got there's great white spotted in the bay all the time.
Are there?
Yes. You didn't see the video of the great white shark breaching literally right off Alcatraz and destroying a seal?
No.
Oh, yeah, no.
I mean, I believe it.
there's tons of marine life,
Yeah.
and it's a massive inlet. So
What about Tofino?
Is it sharky there?
I don't know. I don't think. I mean, that's
think
what I'm
I'd
saying.
like
I
to
think
surf
the.
there.
I think.
J
I think-
Bay, are you surfing Epic J Bay? That's
Yes.
as sharky as
dude,
it gets.
Yeah, get out of here. I'm surfing J Bay. If I were there, I'm surfing J Bay for sure.
Yeah.
Like I know it's sharky, but like that's. A
Okay,
dream
so
wave.
so there is it's like, okay, if it's great, it's like if it happens, it happens.
Yeah, what's the level? J Bay, Point Reyes.
Well, you know what's another thing too about a spot like J Bay versus like Northern California is like at J Bay there's going to be 100 other dudes out there that like
That's
I feel
true.
like it lowers the odds a little bit because
That is very true. I think that's probably why people don't like surfing alone because, like, if you're out with even 9 or 10 people, you're like, all right, there's people closer. You're not usually the farthest one out, so generally there's some comfort in knowing like these guys are 8 feet out farther. Like,
Do you
what
think?
are the odds the shark's gonna come past them and grab me?
Yeah, but imagine that feeling of despair when you get bit by a shark and you feel like, well, at least I'm around other people, but everybody else is just frantically going
Bailing.
bailing around you, swimming, paddling past you to get in as you're sitting there.
Do you think somewhere under the sea there's a shark cast where they're debating about which places they go to, and they're like, J Bay, like we got wrestled there by Mick. You can't go back to J Bay. J Bay's sketchy.
No, I bet
You got punched in the face.
No, if anything, it'd be like, where would you go to attack a human? Would you go to Uppers or would you go to J Bay? J Bay, I'm going to J
Yeah.
Bay all day, baby. If I'm at J Bay, I'm attacking a human.
I'll tell you, I'd still rather surf anywhere in California than surfing in Florida. Florida is the shark attack capital of the world. Now, most of them aren't fatal, but people get bit up in Florida.
In
Like,
shallow water too,
Yeah.
frequently, right?
and they're still pretty bad bites. Like, mostly people don't die, but people get owned there.
If I'm surfing the East Coast, I'm going to Outer Banks. I'm not going to Florida, probably.
I don't
If I'm being real with you. OBX.
The
Hatteras, baby.
It's probably not.
Or
as
Maine, dude.
big of
Or
a
actually,
deal.
I think I would actually, if I'm surfing the East Coast, Maine is my top. Maine and Nova Scotia is the top
Yeah.
desto, and then Outer Banks would be second.
Okay, I don't know if you saw that video I sent you of like perfect Alaska. That guy. I think
Yeah,
I-
with like ice waves or like like
No, it
Oh.
was like in one of the fjords, like at the beginning
maybe
of it,
not.
and he's just getting this like perfect 3-foot peeler with like snow cap. But it's like, do you have a limit in terms of cold water?
No,
if the
no,
surf's
no, no.
firing.
No, I'd go to the Arctic Circle if I could. I just wear a really nice wetsuit. Like I would love to do that actually. Like Ireland, Scotland. Like wouldn't want to surf the heavy waves there, but I would love to do cold water. Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia seems like it's got some dreamy setups there.
Lake Michigan.
Lake Michigan
Sheboygan.
actually.
Yeah.
There's
pretty good surf there sometimes.
Yeah, it's surprisingly consistent. Actually, I think I saw.
Would you
Like
take a cert? Is it travel worthy destination?
no,
Yeah.
I
And
just
sometimes the ice
if
farther out on the lake makes it could be a windy day, but the ice kind of like keeps as the swell
like
moves,
it's like a kelp bed.
Yeah,
Kinda breaks
kinda
up
like-
the wind chop.
breaks up the wind chop. So by the time the
I would go to there to surf if it was like pretty reasonable that I could get surf when I went there.
no sharks
Snapping turtles though, dude.
are there?
Gar, there's gar and pike.
Yeah, I'll take my chances with the gar.
I would love. I think I've only seen pictures of it, but I think that I would love to visit Maine and Nova Scotia. It
I
looks
think
like
Maine would be amazing.
looks like a beautiful coastline and really cool style of surf.
Yeah, and I think it's cool to be at like the northernmost point,
Isn't it crazy? I
or
think
northern
Maine,
easternmost point of this
Maine
country.
only lines up with roughly like Oregon.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
oh,
yeah. Well, you know what's
like
really crazy is that like
longitude.
England,
Yeah.
England lines up with like Maine. Isn't that crazy? England is a pretty far north.
England's north of Maine
Yeah,
by a pretty wide margin. Most of Europe is well north of all of the continental U.S.
yeah, like the Strait of
I think
like the
France
Mediterranean
lines
lines
We've
up.
done
with
chose
us,
well.
right?
But if you look at a map and you look like most of Europe, pretty much Germany, England, France, those are all like well north of almost all of the U.S.
Yeah,
It's
well, it
just-
snows there most of those places in the winter.
The reason our weather is more brutal in much of the country, even though it's farther south than Europe, is because they have all of the Atlantic by the time the weather hits them, so it's more moderate, whereas we have thousands of miles of continent as the jet moves the weather across, so we end up having more extremes, whether or not that's really,
Is
really...
it?
Yeah.
Is it more brutal though here
Yes, way more. I'm saying
on the West Coast?
relative to the latitude. Like obviously if you're in Sweden, it's going to be colder in parts of Sweden than is in most of the US in the winter. But if you're looking at the latitude and it lines up same latitude, they have much more mild weather.
I don't
then-
think that's true.
It is 100% true.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I doubt it. Well, what I don't think it's not, I don't think that England is any more mild than Seattle. And those line
It
up.
is more mild weather. They don't get as bad as storms. They don't get as extreme temperature
I don't
differential.
think
from
that's true
summer to-
though. Like the UK
Okay.
gets hammered by storms.
Okay.
But your argument is that it's further. It's expected that it would be. There'd be a bigger expectation of a difference because it's further north.
No, my argument, and it's not an argument, it's fact. We can look it up after the show. But the reason
That's a good technique.
the reason continental Europe does not get as extreme of weather. I'm not saying they don't get extreme weather, just relative to the U.S.
But like in
whether or not
temperature, wind speed, like
whether
what,
or not that's
vibe?
severe storms, thunderstorms, extreme cold, extreme heat, is because the U.S. has tons of continent the weather passes over, allowing it to evolve and change. But when Europe, most of populated Europe, those countries, there's not that much continent. Those storms pass over. They've been traveling over the Atlantic for thousands of miles, and so it ends up being more mild at the same latitude than it is in much of the U.S., where the storms, like California, pretty mild weather because it's all off the Pacific. Once those storms pass over California and start interacting with terrain, they get gnarly. They cause tornadoes. They cause severe thunderstorms. They
But
go on to impact the East Coast. If
isn't
you're at
that-
the tail end of thousands of miles of continent, the weather's always going to be more volatile than if a population center like much of Europe only has a couple. Most of Europe only has several hundred miles, like Western Europe, at any point all along it between the Atlantic. So
But that's what I'm saying though. Is like
if
I
you're
don't
talking
think
Russia, same thing. Tons of continent, insane weather, insane swings. But if you're talking France, Germany, Poland, you know, like Netherlands, all those countries, they're all very coastal. They're not that
but
wide.
but that's why I said like Seattle. You think Seattle is that much more extreme than
I'm not
London?
making an argument for one U.S. city. I'm talking about the U.S. as a whole. Most of the U.S. has far more weather and temperature extremes, extreme highs, extreme lows,
Well,
and more violent weather. Than
Yeah,
most of
because you're
Western Europe.
because you're comparing the whole breadth, because America spans the whole width of of the North American continent, versus like if you were say Eurasia, which is Europe plus Asia,
But
then
I'm not
that would
talking-
be well.
I'm not talking about Asia. I'm talking about Europe.
I know, but if you were to compare it like square mileage to square mileage, it'd be like comparing Europe to the Western
Like some
U-
fruit that
US.
nobody's heard of before.
What is? I'm confused. What?
But I think that would.
Eurasia
I think
has
that
to
would
do-
prove that would Jesse would be down.
I
for-
said
that would be
there-
his.
and there are certainly deeper parts of Europe that have bad weather, and I'm not saying they don't get terrible storms, and I'm just saying the fact that much of the U.S. the storms pass over a lot of land and continent is what impacts the severe weather, and the fact that you have in Europe you don't have two air masses colliding in the same way we do. We get warm, moist air off the Atlantic and the Gulf that collides with dry air from the west. In Europe, once you get past the Atlantic, there's not another body of ocean for a long, long time, so they don't meet in the same boundary over.
I do think there might be something to this because there's for I think for paragliding, Europe is considered like to have like much more like predictable wind flying there. Like people rave about like the thermals and the flying conditions like all throughout the Alps, and I think it's just it's exactly what you just said. I think there's less confluence of like differing air masses combining. Here, I think there are lots of good areas to fly, but it tends to be more turbulent air, frequently like more dangerous flying air, or like less predictable thermals, like bullet thermals with like crazy air like sinking on the other side. So I don't know if that's related, but at least in that like small sport, I think people talk about flying in the Alps as being more predictable and safer generally.
I
and easier
appreciate you being contrary, just for being contrary, but don't forget, I took a meteorology class at LTCC, so I know what I'm talking about.
I mean, I think I could see. I mean, I could see how like the Alps. Like I could see how that could be a better conditions, especially also too. I would imagine with like also too in the same way that climbing is like and base jumping, like just also the combined with like deregulation probably
Yeah.
and lack of regulations and like access as well. But I also just think that like if you're comparing like what like temperatures, maybe temperature change, wind speeds, I just don't think that Europe
Okay.
is
I'll
any-
give you a fantastic example. When you look at latitudes, right? Look at a state like North or South Dakota and see where that lines up latitude wise with Europe. You'll be surprised. It's not a northern European country. It lines up with like a Spain or a France. The difference in Spain or in parts of France, you do not have negative 30 degrees in the winter in France and then 100 degrees in the summer. Why is
Well,
that?
yeah, I mean that is true, but I also think that if you were to actually compare it to where it is, laterally on the continent, that I think that if you were to compare it to like the steppes, like that'd probably be like the steppes of Asia, right?
What? No.
You're you're
I'm
you're
talking
saying-
about you're talking about North Dakota, which is
Okay, take a part of Idaho, which is 300 miles from the coast. You have 100 degrees in the summer and negative 20. Like you don't have to go that far into the country with extremes. Interior Washington, you have 100 degrees in the summer and you have below zero in parts of the winter. Where do you have that in the same area latitude-wise in Europe? You don't, unless you have insane elevation. But that changes everything no matter where you are.
yeah. Well, I think actually a big part of it too is probably the
Look at California. Bodie could be 80 degrees in the summer and negative 20 in the winter.
I think a bigger part of it though than have like I guess that's true. Yeah, but like Bodie in California has like more extreme temperature changes.
you don't
but-
have tornadoes almost. It's exceedingly rare to have tornadoes in Europe.
But I don't think though that there's any less severe weather.
Oh,
Then-
100% there's less severe weather.
I don't think so. In
There-
Europe
All right,
than there is.
our European watchers or listeners.
Okay, so what you do, you don't routinely have crazy storms throughout Western Europe that, unless you're talking about flooding, but you don't have storms where wind and tornadoes kill people constantly throughout the year in Europe. It's very rare. People die from flooding. People don't die from wind.
I know,
and
but also
tornadoes.
not in Europe. But you also have to separate.
That's violent
I think you have to
weather.
compare Europe. If we're talking about Europe, you have to talk about Europe compared to the American West, right? Because I feel like
Still more extreme.
Eurasia,
Way hotter.
when you include Eurasia, and I mean, I guess I don't really like.
Way hotter in the summer, way colder in the winter. Europe, you don't get cold because Europe is not near as big of a landmass until you get into Russia as the U.S.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
and
Though,
North
so
America.
you have to.
You don't get cold in Europe until you head way farther north. The U.S. in the winter, when you get into the continental U.S., is way colder than the same latitude in Europe. It's not even close. Now, when you head way far north, next time look at a map and look at where Sweden lines up with. Parts of Sweden, like the middle of Sweden, is past the top of Canada.
No, I don't know if that's true. The top of Canada is above the Arctic Circle, and the middle of Sweden is not above the Arctic Circle.
Oh,
Don't
okay,
Right.
the top,
dare reach for that phone right
the,
now.
the top of the province, or like the top of most of the provinces, maybe not like the Northwest Territories, but it's.
I think the topography is different, right? Because you don't have the same sort of like you have like on the Eurasian continent, you don't have the same sort of subduction zone that you do on like the west coast of the European continent, but you have that instead along like the central where the Himalayas are, right? Like the steppe, like the Tibetan steppe, and like the inland Chinese and inland Russia, like where it's isn't that where like the Kalahari Desert is? There's like
I thought the Kalahari Desert was
Is that in
on
Africa?
I
N64.
said I thought that's a Mario Kart.
is that, no the Kalahari Desert, no, the Calamari
Yeah, yeah.
Desert is on N64. The Kalahari Desert.
All right.
Or what's the desert that is that's inland China, southern Russia, right? Like it's like a super dry
know.
place, and it's like a crazy legit
Gobi
desert. Gobi Desert, maybe. But then I think I imagine that's probably analogous to what they have in where you have in like Bodie. So like what I'm saying is it's hard to compare Europe to the U.S. like as a whole, because you're right, it doesn't have the breadth of
The landmass.
That's the
but
point I'm making. It doesn't have the landmass, and it's surrounded by the Atlantic.
but I think when you compare Europe to the Western U.S., it's not.
But that
as
wasn't the
significant.
argument I was making. I just said the U.S. as a general thumb, has far more severe weather and way more extremes, and here's why. And you said, I don't think that's true. So,
But I also
was
don't
trying
think.
to
I think the
explain why it
weather. I
was.
think the weather in the North Atlantic though is just as bad and just as severe as the Northern Pacific.
Okay, but now we're talking about oceans, not the.
Well, that's where most of Europe is, though, right? Is the North Atlantic.
The North Atlantic's an ocean. Europe's a landmass. Yes, it's off the North Atlantic. But if I'm talking about
But the
weather
coast-
systems
but-
that impact the actual continent, as a general rule of thumb, aren't as violent, and it's a more moderate climate as a result of
Do you
the
think-
Atlantic.
I know, but
Ocean.
what I'm saying is that most of Europe, most of Europe, right, and most of the population centers in Europe are actually relatively close to the Atlantic. They're close to the coast, and I think that the North Atlantic is has severe weather just as much as the North Pacific. Probably even more so because if you think about it, the North Pacific is much less populated here in America and Canada than in Europe. In Europe,
Okay.
the North Atlantic has way more population centers
Do you think?
on it.
I'd say the
Right.
Bering Sea would like to.
Do you think?
What you think is the Bering Sea have a lot of Bering Sea has like Russia, right? But like
I'm saying that's pretty horrific weather.
I was going to say, do you think that the relatively calm weather of Europe has affected the citizens of Europe? Do you think that's why they needed help?
Probably.
yeah,
Where
They're
do we
just
get
not
all
as
our
weathered
weather?
and
They always say
conditioned.
a storm spinning off the Aleutians or the Gulf of Alaska. Like it's pretty. I don't know enough about the oceans to.
yeah, but those are also relatively unpopulated areas. Like the stretch from Vancouver to
What does that have to do with? You were saying though that the North Atlantic's got worse weather. Like what does that have to? What's the population?
I wouldn't say worse. I think that there's probably. I imagine the Pacific is a bigger ocean, so I
This
think it has
thing's
more
burning
severe.
a hole in my pocket, baby.
I think it has more severe weather, but I think the North Pacific probably has more severe weather, but it's just less populated on both sides of it, on the Russian and the Canadian side. But I think that the Canadian coast is much less populated than the equivalent of the European coast
Yeah.
on the North Atlantic side.
I
Look,
think that's true.
the Titanic didn't sink from a wave. Okay, it hit an iceberg.
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking like Ireland is not like it's not
Ireland's-
dreamy weather there. It's severe. It's like a
Yeah.
harsh climate. It's like harsh, severe weather there, and like the UK is not dreamy weather there. It's pretty miserable. It's pretty similar to Seattle. Like I don't
True.
think that it's like, oh yeah, if you go Europe is like
But-
much less severe than the US.
But there might be a difference also in gradation between severe weather and just uncomfortable weather, right? Like I feel like UK is known, maybe not like right on the coast, but a lot of UK is just known for having like dreary, drizzly.
Well, they're fighting in Ukraine, and the fighting has to basically grind to a halt in the wintertime.
Yeah, but Ukraine is
But that's again
further.
Is it
The
Europe?
deep-
But I mean, I would say Ukraine is Europe, right?
I mean, I think Ukraine would say they're Europe.
I mean,
Uh,
you could argue some of Russia's Europe, but the point is,
So-
most of
It's
my
on this side of the
argument was
Caucasus Mountains, right?
the populated part of Western Europe is very mild weather.
Europe and Poland in the wintertime, they had to stop fighting in World War II.
Yeah.
Right. I think the same way they'd have to. I mean, they probably actually. I wonder if the weather would be worse there. Do you think they'd have to stop fighting in Idaho if there was a war there in the wintertime?
In the 1940s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? Like if it's negative.
But again,
no, but
Ukraine-
it's like
but
it's also drier. It's
Ukraine
like it is like
massively farther north than Idaho. It's not even close.
is it?
Yes,
It's got to be.
Yeah, I guess.
substantially farther north. It's north of a lot of Canada.
I don't know.
Yes,
I bet it probably lines up with the bottom half of Canada.
Name a city in Canada that it
It's
lines
north
up
of
with.
Toronto.
Well, I mean, Ukraine's also huge, right?
Yeah.
From top to bottom. Southern Ukraine versus northern.
You know what? I mean, this is a non sequitur for what we're talking about, but you know what is a huge country geographically that I was looking at a map the other day? I was like, oh my gosh. It's in the news right now.
Greenland.
Iran.
Oh, yeah.
Iran is massive.
Yeah, it's big.
Like I was looking at it compared to, I was like, if you put Iran in Europe, it would take up multiple countries in Europe.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It's got a lot of coast too, right?
Mongolia
Yeah.
is huge too.
Some sketchy coast, I think.
Is
right now.
Mongolia a country? It's just a region, right?
Mongolia?
It's a state of mind.
It's a way of
It's
life.
a barbecue joint.
Well, it's China, right? Isn't it?
I don't know.
I think so.
think
I
it's
don't,
We've stumped
country.
ourselves with a.
I don't think China would let Mongolia exist.
It's funny. The longer this TV show goes on, it seems like we get into in the weeds geography, and we eventually stump ourselves and really show how little we know about, or maybe how much.
I think it's a country. Mongolia? God.
No, don't go. Don't do it.
Well, it's a big area.
Well, will you at least
With a mighty people.
will you at least agree that Northern Europe has pretty severe weather?
It can have severe weather. Anywhere can
It does have
severe
severe
weather. I can't.
You know what has
wait to whip out my phone.
You know what has not had severe weather this winter? Saddleback.
No.
I don't think there's been any snow
There
on
was a little
Saddleback.
snow on that last storm. It
Really?
was gone by the next day.
Yeah,
I
I've
was
looked
looking. I
many
looked.
times, and I've been like, I don't see.
The tail end of that 2 or 3 part system we got in late February, it had a little snow for like a day.
Yeah,
Definitely not slidable, but
a far cry from last year
that is a goal of mine.
to snowboard
Before
Saddleback.
my knees get too old, maybe already too late, but to get up to Saddleback
I'll do it with you.
I would like to do that with you.
and slide on some. You have to. It has to be kind of impromptu. It's not something
Totally.
you can just be like.
feels
today.
hard to do logistically, realistically. I mean, it feels like an e-bike mission.
It's definitely an e-bike
Yeah,
mission.
because I think gates can shut you down.
Yeah.
But imagine if you had a well, you do have an e-bike. We all have e-bikes. You park at Silverado. You take the trail up. You're up to the peak in an hour.
Yeah,
It also seems a little bit tough though in the conditions where there is snow to like the trail up there would probably be miserable even on an e-bike.
I bet you could get most of the way of that
with
if
no
you had
snow.
some good tires.
And I think most of the way would probably be no snow.
Yeah,
It's not going to be snow.
no, but I think it'd be super muddy. Is what I
Yeah.
think would be miserable about it. I'm envisioning a lot of slipping, a lot of having
I think
to.
you would
step-
need like a legit. You would need a better e-bike than the one that I have. You would need like a
No guts, no gold. I mean, that is a pretty hard packed road, though.
But people have done it driving up there too, so they don't always close the road in time. In time.
I would much prefer an e-bike than a regular bike, though.
It seems like if you could get back there before they close the road, that would be your best shot because you could drive up.
But then, do you get locked in?
I don't think they'd lock you
We
in.
got chased.
I think
How
they
would they not? How would
they
they?
clear the mountain. They like come up and
Oh,
like
really?
that's what they did to us when we were up there.
Yeah, they said, "Hey, we had to play dumb."
I
The
think they're-
ranger stuff. He's like, "What are you guys doing?"
But how
up
do you do
here?"
that logistically? You go up before the storm hits.
You go up during. Oh, maybe who knows? This was years ago when we did it, and so maybe they were like less on it to like close it before the storm hits. We just drove up as it was.
The storm was hitting. There was
Going.
like 6 inches of snow up at the top.
You could have skied or snowboarded
Yeah.
then for sure.
And the guy said, "What are you guys doing up here?" or whatever. I was about to shut the gate. I thought I'd found everyone.
I went to the top of El Morro Ridge Park to
Mhm.
take pictures of the locals on that last coverage, and they had a ranger posted up there. Trail closed. A bunch of mountain bike nerds were parking and like unpacking, and seemed like just fitting to get around the guy. But
I think they're hardcore about closing those trails when it's been wet
Yeah,
because
they are.
the bikers like rut it out.
I think
if they're
Someone
Yeah.
was
there.
shot a couple months back and killed.
at Ridge Park,
No, on the truck trails.
Really?
Yes.
I believe that.
A sheriff's deputy, off-duty sheriff's deputy, shot and killed some other guy. They got in some like,
Oh, I think I read
Confrontation.
about that.
and then he blamed the guy.
I would like to. Not only would I like to ski off Saddleback, I would really love to fly off Saddleback.
I don't think it takes much to get blamed by an off-duty sheriff's deputy, especially an off-duty Orange County sheriff's deputy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, flying off Saddleback would be sick.
I got close last year. I made it to like
Maybe some speed flying with your skis.
No.
You got
Maybe
shut
doing-
down by your ankle.
by my
right?
ankle and conditions. I honestly don't know. Even with a good ankle, I could have made it, but it would have.
Did you fly or did you walk down?
I flew. Maybe stupidly.
Oh, so you did fly off Saddleback.
Not off Saddleback. I hiked up. I wasn't on the truck trail. I was just hiking out of Trabuco, and there's like a road up there. I forget the name of it. That it's gated. You can't drive up it, but it was easy hiking. And then eventually you get off the road and you're just following power lines, like so there's like kind of a trail. It's not actually a trail,
So
but
you're like a fire road type, a service road.
I was on a fire road basically, and then eventually you just make a hard ride off of it, and you're just going up really steep, loose hillside that they put that they have power poles in. So they put the power poles in, so there's kind of like a path. It's not like just off-roading, but it sure is not like a trail.
It seemed like they put them in with helicopters.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
When I was out there, they were working on the poles with a helicopter. And as I kind of knew, as soon as I got to the trail, I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. But I was so like determined, and I just kept going. My ankle hurt, and I was so dehydrated that I'd count steps, and I think I started at 1,000, and after 1,000 steps, I'd stop and just flop over and rest. And I was super dizzy, and then the number kept getting lower and lower, and I stopped myself when I got to 100, when I was having to only take 100 steps and then flop over. I was like, I'm not making it. And I probably stopped I don't know, maybe 800 to 1,000 vertical feet short of the summit, but just on this random hillside under power poles. And I had no water left. And I was like, dude, this sucks. I'm going to have to hike. Maybe I had a headlamp, but I was like, I'm going to be hiking down in the dark. My ankle doesn't feel good. And I was like, I got to try and fly off this spot. And because of the fire that burned there a couple years ago, there wasn't that much coverage, which made it super hot to hike in, but also launchable
Safer
at a
to
bunch
fly,
of places.
right?
And I set up the wing, and I was so out of it. Looking back on it, it was not a good decision. I probably should have just hiked off of it, but I was like, I
should have climbed up one of the power poles and zip lined down the cable.
And I had an aborted launch. My wing got stuck on a branch or whatever, and I didn't make it. And I was like, God damn it. And I was like, all right, I'll give it one more shot. And I set up a different way, not as much into the wind, with a cactus garden below me. And I was like, I better abort this if I realize that it's not going to fly. And I launched, and everything worked out. I got airborne, skimmed this cactus garden, and then I was in a different canyon from where I had e-biked and left my bike at the gate, and then parked even further away because it's a little bit up Trabuco Canyon, a wash. And I was like, I got to get over this ridge to get to my bike. And so I had to cross over power lines, the same power lines that
fly
had come
over
down
them.
this thing. And so I was like, I hope I maintain altitude and get over these power poles, which ultimately was fine. But definitely,
Cross them by how many feet?
hundreds.
Oh, okay.
But looking back on it, I was like, that was it was an idea. I put myself into a situation where I was making not necessarily bad decisions, but I was definitely oh, well, normally I do it this way, but in this time it's worth it.
Cleared to land then.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is that made me think of the feeling that I have hiking to ski something when I'm really tired and I'm like, oh, dude, I'm so tired right now, and I'm gonna ski. It's gonna take me 2 seconds to ski down this 100 feet. That's gonna take me the longest. It's gonna take me 10 minutes to climb up this, and it's
Yeah.
all gonna be gone in 2 turns.
Yep. I
And
mean,
then a lot of times I think, fuck it, I'm not going any higher. It's not worth it.
at the time I was stoked that the flight down was going to take some,
It's different with gliding because you get a decent amount more, right, than skiing. It's if you hike an extra 200 feet, you can probably glide for minutes longer.
Do you think
right?
that
Yeah.
contributes to base jump fatalities when the hike to the exit is 10, 12 miles
Oh,
of rigorous
totally.
hiking, and these people are just it's not ideal, but I got it.
100%. If you're unwilling to hike down, if you're like, dude, or not even if you're unwilling, but if you're just like, I could bail and not do this, but the hike out's going to be brutal,
I'll take the
Yeah.
quick way down.
Like
Yeah.
that's 100%,
quick.
in
I
a
think
way
that
less
factors into a lot
risky
of
situation for me, obviously, but that is 100% where I was. I was like, I have no water left. Like I'm like dizzy anytime I like have put effort going up.
Would you have hiked down again if you redid it?
Yes, 100%.
You think so?
Yeah, because it was like a terrible launch site. It wasn't a launch site. It was just like a ridge. And, especially at the time, I think I'd been paragliding for like under a year. Yeah, it was not the right.
It's kind of the same
call.
way I feel like, should I go to work or not go to work?
If you know what you knew now.
Yeah. It's like you end up deciding to go in against your better judgment
Yeah, it was.
and in retrospect.
If I'm questioning going to work, dude, when in doubt, I go
Don't go.
without. Yeah, always. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Well, it's 9:00. I'm over it.
That was good. We probably over an hour, easily over an hour.
It's a
Yeah.
good pod.
Well, if you're still listening or watching, thanks.
Let
Dead
us
Rec-
know if
Dead-
Mongolia is a
Yeah.
country.
Yeah, it's Mongolia country. DeadReckonPrintworks.com, 118westshow.com too. If you want to buy some 118 West merch like that
think
gray
it's a-
shirt up
I
there.
think it's a
This
country.
one right here. This
Yep.
one right there. We got them.
And does Europe have crazier weather than?
And what's the
North
average
America?
annual snowfall at Mammoth?
Yeah, I want to hear.
We've really covered a lot of ground tonight.
We did have some German viewers. Maybe they'll weigh in and be like, dude.
Oh, okay. No, you're good. Sorry. Nothing. Oh,
Oh,
whoa.
there we go. Give them what they want.
All right.
On
Signing
that
y'all.
note.